Let's do art. Yeah, let's add this. Hello. Does have to be a split. And I'm going to do something really fun real quick. Let's see right here. Turn off. Let's see. I want to do my filtering right. So I want to have the right hand being able to be sustained while the bass is not. So the bass is here, so no sustain. And then I don't want pitch, bend, or mod wheel on the guitar part, so I'm going to turn those off. So now I can and that way when I stop playing, it doesn't sustain. Hey, there you are. Welcome. Hi. Let's add a pad. We should add a pad to this, right? So there's all these cool pads down here. Let's do time. Yeah, so set to load into Unify layer. Click. And I'll say, yeah, you should stop at C. And because I don't have the sustain pedal on the bass, I can, it's sustaining in the right hand. And because I loaded that pad as a Unify layer, I'm gonna go playing around and see if I can find another pad that. That's cool. Might want to break it up rhythmically. So let's go to our pump house and just turn this on and see what we get. Ready for a little groove. So let's right click, open the metronome, let's turn it on. And one thing, I've decided I want to have pitch bend in the right hand and not the bass. So let's go to the bass and say pitch bend off and turn the guitar to have pitch bend so I can like. And you'll notice, even though the metronome is a separate Unify layer, it's listening to pitch bend. So we have filtering right here also for here. So let's turn off pitch bend here. Hello, I'm John Limcool. Welcome. I like to start live streams by making patches for my customers. This is a patch. It's going to be a free patch. I'll give you to download in a second. Using Guitar Sphere. This is a library from Bob Deddes. It's been out for a couple, 2-3 weeks. And the intro sale pricing on it ends Sunday night. So if you want some really cool rhythmic guitars, now that snare is not working for me. So this we'll give you a little tutorial on the metronome. So so I can hit solo, and if I use right click when I do solo, I can cycle between the three. There's my kick. Hitting pretty good. I have a secondary one here. That's right, with this snare. Not the right snare. So open up Guru's sampler. Look at the kit. Go, is this the kit I want to use? I can use transpose. And transpose is just shifting the MIDI note that's played from the MIDI box or whatever it is. Is this a MIDI box? It is a MIDI box. Okay. And I've got all sorts of snares. I like to group snares all together. That's better. And let's see, I got some reverb down here on auxiliary 2. But I wanted to do something, not just sit there like that, right? So I'm gonna go to this reverb, turn off the delay so that it's not happening. Let's see, we can change the EQ on this. Shorten the... I want to be shorter, so I'm going to do a fun trick. So it's right here. So I'm going to add a pump house, say dynamics pump house, and let's set it to a bar, actually a half bar, so that it just goes. See where I'm going? You can kind of hear the result right there. So we're going to double click. So I can shape the reverb with this pump house. There, it's kind of cool. Now, because it's a Zen verb, I know that I've got two different actual reverb components, and I have frequency control of each one. So I can change that reverb quality. I can gas it up. To whatever frequencies I want. I kind of like it down here. Let's make it shorter, so it's like even more like a Euro. So pump house, open up this shape. Let's add another break. There, it's just kind of like there as a noise blast. We used to do this on records all the time. They would use a snare to a side chain to a noise generator. Bob Clearmountain and a whole bunch of cats back in the day would do this to get their snares. So I'm using a reverb to do that kind of thing, but it's a cool trick. All right, let's get our mix right. The guitar lead is a little loud, so we'll go over here to this guy. Cool. Cool. All right, last thing I need to do that, I want just a little bit more energy. I need a 16th notes. So let's make one from scratch so you can see the process. If you want to add a drum element, actually we'll just go over here to the metronome because I have made presets of this stuff already. So just to shorten it, so we go to the BPM hat, 16th notes, busy, and you can see the name of the kit that was used for it. So let's say let's add this. I just want layer 1. So now that's not quite the right MIDI box pattern I want. So open MIDI box. Click here. This is the missing downbeat one. Let's go to the name. So 16th note, accents, no accents, was just 16th, straight 16th notes. Right? Now let's make it a little more interesting. Let's go to Guru Sampler, decay. And I'm actually going to swap this over to Guru Sampler 2. So let's go over here, say instruments, swap it to Guru Sampler 2. Keeps the same sample, same basic envelope shape. The reason I want to do this is because I have LFOs that I can do some fun playing with. So I'm going to set this up to be a clocked unipolar, meaning it only goes in one direction. Turn on transport sync and set it to like a half note. Let's see, half note like that. And for the shape, we want it to be custom. Let it be that to start with, and then we'll play from there. And we right click on the decay parameter, and we go to LFO 3 and just crank it up. Right? So now I could do things, I could invert it, because this is controlling the envelope now for this. Let's say I want to do it more like a triangle shape. It goes up and down. There. Maybe not quite so much range, so we can bring down the intensity. We want to be down here. There. It's a little bright, so we can filter it. Let's bring down our intensity filter over here. Turn it down. I just want to have some energy. Cool. This might sound funny, but I think after that snare that's got the pump house on it over here, I think I want one more reverb after that. So I'm going to go over here, go reverb, just like inverb, something simple. That gives it that 80s vibe. It's gated, then it has just a little bit of a tail of a different reverb after that. Isn't that cool? I mean, there's so much, whatever you can think up, there's a way to do it in Unify for the most part. There's very few times where I've been stumped. And I could go on and on. I could do macro knobs. We could be here for just an hour-long session just doing this stuff. But let's see. Okay, so there's a lot of you here. Hey, welcome. Okay, we're all warmed up. So let me save this patch. I just watched a really cool video on this guy driving around Vietnam. So I'm going to save this as like a Z BPM split. Beautiful road. Because it was a beautiful trip. My goodness, they were driving around northern Vietnam. It's just so beautiful in a monsoon. Let's see, guitar. So we'll say BPM split. I have so much to show you guys, so don't go away. Bob, that is, I'll give you credit, and I get credit too. So save as save. So it's the only Z at the end of the list. How's that? So let's do this. Let's reveal in the Finder. You need to own the Guitar Sphere library for this to work. But if you do, you get a free patch today. So libraries. So I have a folder on my desktop named, get back over here. Named libraries. And I'm going to have this patch put into libraries. Compress. Let me make sure I got the right patch because yep. I don't know why I have this little thing opening up all the time now, but I don't really want to see that. Beautiful trip. Okay, so let's see. I compressed it, so I just have to rename it. Guitar Sphere bonus live stream. Last day of January. Can you believe it? 26. .guru. And this way you guys just drag it over Unify and it will add it. Let's see, did I do this? I did it wrong. I did it wrong. Don't follow me. So I need to copy the whole library over, right? Because if I just had it do that, it would put it just here at the top of the libraries folder, and that would be a bad thing. So I'm going to copy over Guitar Sphere just to make sure. Because what this is when it's a .guru file, you drag it over, it's told to unzip and put them into the same hierarchy as it is inside this folder. So I don't want it there. I want to instead Guitar Sphere. See, every time I open, I don't know what I did. I was doing something and messed something up. So patches, all of them, but this one we say bye-bye because you have them already. And this is a .unify, so you can modify it if you want. There. Now I can compress this. Livestream. Oh, wait. Guitar Sphere Livestream bonus. 131. And then end with .guru. And if you are a cool enough person to own the Guitar Sphere library, it is a killer library. It has so much good stuff going on in it. Unify 2 libraries, Guitar Sphere. And put this over here. I'll give you the link. This is why we love our live streams, because I can do stuff like this and share it with you. So here is the link. Enjoy. Beautiful trip. And it's modular in shape, meaning that if you want to change the guitar, this lead guitar part, just open up the Unify 2 layer by clicking on it. It goes to the library. It shows you what it's got, and you could say, right? So I've added that instead. So now when I play, I've got a... I could do that, or I could go, oh, I want something else. I mean, just open up and play around all these different guitars. There's so many different. Take something like this. You'd want to go over here, take the delay. Let's get the delays up and go over here to Unify Standard Modulation, put a chorus on it. I mean, you can mess this up in all sorts of cool ways, even changing it to other patches. So enjoy the patch. Yeah, I love warming up, making a synth patch, like something like that. Just putting together the elements of this library. There's so many fun things in this library to play with. Anyway, Sunday night, the introductory sale, you can save 45% right now. It's at the website. I don't know if I put a link in the video. Let me see here if I refresh. It's got something going on funny on my let's see, there it is. Okay, I just want my video feedback was blank, and I was like, oh, are you guys seeing something, or is something broken or what? So hey, what happened to the ability to pay with what happened to the ability with PayPal? I got tired of paying PayPal way too much. You know, for e-commerce, I have many customers in Europe, and it was getting close to 10% charges that they would charge me in order for you to use PayPal. And I'm sorry, but I'm not into silent partners just for being the cashier for selling my libraries that charges that high of a percentage. And I tried to work with them, and we couldn't come to an agreement, and so I turned them off. So I work with Stripe. If you do want to use PayPal, you can send a message, just Unify support at PlugInGuru.com, and I will do one-offs to send an invoice to you for what you want to buy. But when I have as many sales a month as I have right now, it's literally saving me thousands of dollars, believe it or not, by not using PayPal. And I'm not going to charge you guys the fees they charge me. So they're out. Excuse me. So yeah, they They charge a, like, is it what, 3.9% plus 75 cents or 49 cents per transaction. And then there's another 4.5% if you're in Europe for the conversion. They're so generous to do the conversion. It's all computers just sitting there doing this automatically. And it's obscene how much money they make. It's just crazy. And I'm not paying that. If other companies wanted to pay that, and I mean, it's just ridiculous. So Stripe is far better. They have a much better conversion rate for European customers. So I'm working with them. And they have lots of pay options. But again, if you need to use PayPal, we can send you an invoice. I'm just not going to pay, you know, when it's $4 or $5 in PayPal fees for 500 transactions. That adds up really quick. And so, sorry, I'm not doing that. I am a very lean company. There's Paul, there's me, and there's Taylor. And we barely just survive as it is. So giving all this money to some invisible, you know, it's one reason why I've never pursued trying to do stuff on the iOS devices with Apple, because they immediately take 30% off the top just for the pleasure of being on their, you know, platform. And no. So can't work that way. Anyway, welcome. Hey, so we have just released Unify 2.01.3. And we actually released 2.01.2 just before I left for the Los Angeles trip. And we just we got it out while we were in Los Angeles. We decided to release it. And after we released it, we got feedback that we didn't hear when we were doing our testing with our beta testers and stuff, that this really cool ability I'm going to show you wasn't working for the PC platform. And we figured out what was wrong, but Paul didn't, you know, we're in Los Angeles at this little Airbnb. We don't have the tools with us to make a build and fix it and do it there. So we had to wait until we got home, do the fixes, do a little round of beta testing, make sure that we did everything right. And during that time, I added 2 more patches. So what we have done, what Paul has done, this is another one of these. Paul was supposed to be just having a nice Thanksgiving vacation getaway. He'd been working so hard to get Unify 2 out. And instead, he made Notemate. And in 2.02, we added a really cool thing to Notemate, which is one of these things that I thought was going to not be done because it sounded very complicated. But he did the mad work for the last, you know, a number of days before we released this. If I go Notemate, there are these patches like this. This is the classical tree. Oh, let me go starting it from scratch. I'm going to show you the cool thing in a second. That's the ability to load Hyperion patches. We'll get to that, but I'm going to just cover this really quick. It's so cool what he did. So this is our little Notemate MIDI effect plugin. It now has 2 parameters up here that were not there before. These are the cool things that really make Divisimate and other things like that work. Now, we don't replace Divisimate. Divisimate is a separate application that connects to your DAW. You route your whole list of all of your orchestral instruments, the whole orchestra, and then it has presets so that you can like do these amazing orchestral things with the orchestra. It takes a bit more work, of course, to set up, but it's far more in depth what it does. But one of the things that it does that we didn't do before this with this note lookahead, you know, you'd play and let's see if I actually turn off the zone. It actually just works so much better. But this is this really cool ability with the zoning so that you have a look ahead for the timing of when you're playing notes so that it keeps everything. My cello, which is the first note played, it allows it really feels like you're playing a single instrument, even though I'm actually playing 3 different layers of orchestral sounds that are on 3 different MIDI channels. So I can So it's a really cool, before this, when you'd play a chord, like if I had this, and they'd be bouncing around, the cello would all of a sudden start playing this middle note or the high note. It wasn't staying in its lane for staying like. Now it is. So this was added in 2.02. This look ahead. Paul explained it to me a number of times. I still don't totally understand, but it's looking ahead between the timing of one note to the next, and that allows it to know where to keep things organized so that it plays. It just works. It's so cool. So now the advantage we have over a Divisimate scenario is that this is a MIDI effect, and you could have all of your orchestral patches that you need for a certain thing saved as a patch. And then you can call that up in different scenes without having to do all the configuring and all that kind of stuff. So there are advantages to this way of working as well as there is the Divisimate way of working. So if you're a film composer, I don't think this will replace Divisimate. It might be a really cool addition. Maybe it will. I don't know. But the goal for this was to make something that let us manage things with, there's this age-old challenge. I've got right here, these 3 key zones. How do I make it so I don't have to make it a split, but it still works like there's a split, right? Like I'm playing a cello part. I can take that cello note and play on the other side of the keys up high, while I'm holding the other notes down. It's no longer a split point based ability to deal with the layers. So that was the challenge, and the benefit of that is how cool it works with orchestral things. The other cool ability with this is the ability to, in this one plugin, we basically gave you a solution for both the Divisimate kind of work for orchestral people, but we also give you, if you're into main stage, this allows you to preload Unify. This is 16 layers on 16 different MIDI channels, and then Notemate is set up in this way so that, and I think, do I have my, let's see, is it this one here? I have this still set up from my trade show, so let's go over here and say MIDI learn and listen to this control. There we go, so now it's working. So what this does is I now have the selector that can change between these tabs. We actually made it so that if I hit add even more, I now have the ability to have 16 tabs that I can cycle between. And each one of these can be, as you can see, a different combination of elements. So here's piano. So if you're in church, you're in that kind of scenario, I just move my slider and now I'm playing piano, guitar, and a pad. And then if I move my knob again, I can go over here to a split. Whatever I want to do, I have 3 zones to work with. So let's go to the piano. Okay. If I wanted to modify this, let's say I want to make it a split. I go here to this, right? This is our zone selector area here. And I can go like this. I can also right click on a key and play. You have to do it to both. We're hoping to fix that. We'll fix that at some point. So so now from C up, it's playing this zone here. Down here, it's not playing anything yet because nothing's turned on. But if I go over here and I say dark solid bass, now it's on. And if I want to also have the guitar with this, and for my piano, I want to add the strings and I want to add maybe the gospel organ. So that's that tab. This is tab 1. I could then go over here and rename it. Say this is the song 1 or whatever it is you want to name it, right? And then I can move to the next tab just by like moving my controller or by clicking the tab here. You can be playing it like this. I can actually just go up here and click these, and I'm there. Just click, piano pad. Or I can use a controller, or else a lot of you guys with main stage are used to the program and advanced program go back. So I could go to my two controllers. Actually, I just go here, Notemate. So I'd say right click on this and right click on this. There, I've set them up. So now I'm using a control to cycle patch advance. So I can do all the things I can do in main stage that people love. Go over here and go to the next one. Right? So it's seamless. I'm playing the organs. Then I change to something else. The organ's still playing. I can play both. When I take my sustain pedal off, then the organ stops, of course, because it's listening to that. But it allows you to do seamless switching between whatever layers you want. Each of these layers, you open up any one of these, replace this with any other patch from any other library. Say no, hold down Option and get rid of these and make it some plugin. I could say I want this to be Serum, whatever. You can set this up so that each of the 16 layers are exactly what you want it to be for your live show. You got your volumes, you got your panning. We have a reverb here. If you expand this, you could go here and see which layers have reverb assigned. It's just super, super cool. We can now do all that kind of stuff with this one MIDI effect that we added in the latest update. So it's crazy powerful. It's got crazy, and it's 3 zones. So I could actually say, no, I want a zone here. And then down at the very bottom, I want to have like sound effects or drums or orchestra, whatever I want to do. You can set up that way. You set this, right here's where you choose your modes. This is what determines whether it's all voices, which is where it's like this. It's as many notes of polyphony as you want. But when you change it to these other 4 modes, this is where you start getting into the note distribution. Like low to high means note, your low to high note. So here's your voice number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I do this, if I said I want piano, and then I want guitar for my second voice, and I want a pad for 3, 4, 5, and 4 and 5. I also want this cool lead sound to come in. So I got piano. Oh wait, see here. So my zones aren't set right? So I gotta go like this. So I use the whole keyboard. Piano, guitar, pad. So it's letting me choose from low to high as I play more notes of polyphony what I'm doing. So I got piano, guitar, and then pad. So if you go the other way, then it's high voice to low, which means that the first note that's played is your 8th note. So you can choose what you want to be for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So however you want to work it. Or you can use one other mode that's really cool called random voices. So now it's just randomly. So, you know, you can have them all on just clicking around here if you want. So if you have a bunch of cool synth sounds that are different, this is how to get like real-time wave sequencing kind of things or stuff like that. It's all sorts of crazy options are available. But this is where you determine how that zone is going to be. And what's really cool is that while this zone could be doing that, I could go over here, do a key zone split at C again. This zone, I could say all voices and have it playing all of these sounds all at the same time from the same sounds, but it's a different zone. And I could even transpose, so I could say up an octave, and I want this to be up an octave. So that's going on while the same zones on this side are playing randomly. So it's God mode for 16 layers that you can play with. And this is one tab. The next tab next to it is just the way it was before. So that's the insanity with this, is that so much power. If I go back to that all crazy zone, wherever it is, that's just one of 16 tabs you could set up. So the power this gives you in Unify is truly frightening in a good way. So it just opens up, we just want to give you places to play with your plugins. That's what this is a place to play. We have all these great plugins. Where can you do this kind of stuff with? You can't do that in a DAW. Show me in a DAW where you could call up 16 patches and decide whether you want them to all play all at the same time with your left hand, while those same patches are randomly doing something in your right hand. There's no place else on the planet that does what this does. So enjoy. We love what we do. We're going to try to get the word out more. If you can help us spread the word. Sorry, I have a cold. Oh, man, it's been a crazy week. Okay, so I have stories to tell you, but one more thing I got to show you with this update. This is the thing. I'm sorry for holding it off for so long. If you go up here and you get the updated library and you type in Hyper, that's all you got to do. By the way, if you go to the website, pluginguru.com, and let me log in real quick, I'll show you where you go to get this. So when you get to the My Account, and here's Unify 2, right here at the end of the list of downloads is the updated library 2.01.3. It adds 12 Hyperion patches, 728 patches in total. Now, if you're just buying Unify, I have also updated part 4 of 4. So if you don't have to do this updated library if you install part 4 of 4. But this gives you the 728 patches now, including all the Notemate patches I was just showing you, and these. And this is crazy. So let's just call up, let's call up something simple. Here, let's just call up this key. Well, the lead sounds really cool. So let's start with the lead sound. Now, I currently have Hyperion inside. I have Hyperion, and I have it installed. So this is Hyperion. Check this out. To make this one lead sound I'm going to play, it required 3 different algorithms of all of these oscillators, filters, ADSRs, all these green things are the audio effects that Paul made. This is the plugin that Paul made. It's a modular synth, and it sounds like this. It's great. Just make sure you make the proper rock face. And you gotta squint, do all that stuff when you're playing this, right? Well, check this out. I'm gonna go into my plugin list, Hyperion. I'm gonna remove Hyperion, and I'm leaving this little thing that Paul added that he put together for us. He told me he was doing this. I didn't know about Notemate till it was actually working and done, and he sends it to me. But he told me he was doing this, and I got really excited. And what this is this is our headless Hyperion that's included inside of Unify 2. So I'm going to go 1 patch up, 1 patch back. I might have to, no, it did it. So now, same sound. Still making the sway phase. But if I go to open the interface, this is all I get. This is for all of you that don't own Hyperion. The DSP, the brains, all the capabilities to make all those complex envelopes, oscillators, effects, everything is inside Unify 2, but you only get the headless version, which lets you enjoy the sounds without having to own Hyperion. Isn't that cool? It's the coolest thing. And the hope is it will make you want to go buy Hyperion to play with, because it is an ultimate place to learn synthesis because you see it in front of you. But it is a deep dive. There's a lot there to learn. He's got tons of patches from beginning all the way up to these advanced patches and stuff. But what I'm going to show you now, these are 12 patches in the factory voicing for Unify 2. If I go over here to the classic EP, nice piano. I can go to the knobs. Excuse me. Hyperion. And again, no interface. It's just headless. You can do crazy things. There's really, really cool pads. Check out this incredible pad. That cool? You got control over the water volume. Make the water go away. Get rid of the breeze. Turn up some more reverb and delay if you want. So you have control over the volume of the separate elements inside Hyperion. If you open up the macro knobs, excuse me, you'll see that if you go down here to Hyperion, I have the layer control. Even if it has 16 layers, you can access those, and you can access the macro knobs without seeing the name of them. So you're gonna kind of have to hunt and peck a little bit. But this gives you access to all sorts of cool things. Here's an example where Hyperion, it has a ton of tools, and because of the way that it is configurable, we can use it as an arpeggiator. So this is an example where it's being arpeggio. And these two hard parts are because Combo Box is playing, well, you won't be able to see it, but look, it's routing the MIDI in and out of Hyperion. And if I open this up, you're not going to see much, right? It's just like this. But if I want, here, let's go back to the full version of Hyperion, because you get the idea of what that's like, right? So I go to Operations, select Plugin Files to scan, VST3. You need to have the VST3 version, Hyperion. Add it. Now if I go back and I like go out one patch and I come back to playing, now I can open up Combo Box and I can open this up, and here it is. So we're using Hyperion now as a note arpeggiator to get access to this arpeggiator. And it's got all these really cool chords. Like here's a minor diminished seventh. Let's do this. Let's solo just the two harps. I could say I wanted to be 4/5. All these different types of chords. You got variable timing. You get all sorts of crazy timing things going on if you want. Random velocity. And the mode, whether you want to go up and down. And how many octaves. And now, if you don't own Hyperion, you don't have access to this interface. So you can't change this around. You just get to see it as the headless version. But if you have the full version of Hyperion, you can use it as an arpeggiator. Unify doesn't have a built-in arpeggiator. Blue Arp is kind of a sequencer with based on what notes you play and stuff like that. So this is the first true. I'm very excited to have this because we haven't had this, to have a true arpeggiator, and it can do chord. If you say off, now it's chords, so you can. Now I'm playing chords, and it's an arpeggiator. But if you go to the chord type and instead of off, you set it to like major 7s. Now it's that. So it's nice to have Hyperion and Unify too. It can also do one more thing that's pretty jaw-droppingly cool. By the way, I want to give you a tip. If you want, you could copy this combo box. Let's see, let's call this up the way it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, right? I could copy this combo box just by, Control, Shift, and clicking on the little bullet. And I could go to any other patch. Let's go to just a pluck patch that doesn't have this and go to plucks, like say, let's say, Come Fly Away With Me, right? Now this is 4 layers, so I'm going to find something short and simpler. Let's say, let's get rid of a couple of these. Let's just have it. Just for grins really quickly, right? If I go over and hold Shift and click right here, it will put combo box doing Hyperion as an arpeggiator to another patch. So you can copy the patch from the patch that I've created. And then what I did to make it kind of interesting in that patch was I would duplicate this layer. And then after one of the combo boxes, you add one of our creative effects called jitterbox. And you change it to be quantized jitter instead of just random timing jitter by going like this. Instead of an arbitrary time where it means it could be like, it's going to like play whenever it wants. Especially if you give it random like plus or minus time. If I say simple notes and just eighth notes, now pan left and right. The second one now can be, each timing event can now be ahead. In fact, let's do this. Instead of eighth notes, let's say 16th notes so we can get more interesting. So now it's randomized on one side. Right? So there's all sorts of ways of playing with MIDI effects, and there's so many tools inside of Unify to do all sorts of cool things. So you can copy the effects and the things I'm showing you to use in other patches. Just want to point that out. So if I say hyper, let me show you this other really cool ability. Granular Dunes is a patch where I'm using, here, let's bypass this auxiliary effect because all the cool stuff's happening down here in this auxiliary effect. It's just a pad. It's just our wonderful mellow jaws, the nice, most perfect pad, right? But in this case, it's going down to a combo box that's doing granular effects, because inside of Hyperion, if you change the input that's normally a trigger to the audio input, it's now routing audio in, and then here's the output. And in between, I have granulator, and then a dense verb, and I have an LFO, and here, let's get this over so you can see what all these are doing, and an LFO squared, and here's granulator. So see how it's doing some cool jittering and stuff. Listen to what this does. I'm going to play one note. It's this pad that's got this cinematic detuning going on. Isn't that cool? Oh, it's just so dope. Then turn on the drums. And I put a filter after the granulator, so if you want, you can. Here, let's do this really quick, just for fun. I've thought about this and I haven't done it yet. So let's say granulator, and let's say five. Let's make it maybe like 8 granular steps. So go D10s, make it 8. Right click on this and turn it into the stair steps. So now it's stair step, and turn on run. Let's have it go faster. So you can get it to do all sorts of So you can get all sorts of cool motion things happening. So there's all sorts of cool ways to use this effect. Right, so all sorts of fun things. So let's see, wait, Paul's in here. Yeah. Yeah, okay, Paul's pointing out the guitar, the arpeggiator also has a strum mode, which is cool. All right, so all of that is now in Unify 2.1.3, right? So it's beautiful, beautiful stuff. So thank you, Paul, for adding that ability to Unify too. It's just wonderful. So all of these patches here, if you go to like Escape from Planet Zorg, this is a really cool. And it's got a cool lead on the right hand. And check this out. So here's turn off the drums for a second. It's got a lead sound that has a toggle. See if we open up, check, this patch has a lot going on. Again, look at all the stuff required for just for one of the sounds. Here's for the bass part. Here's for the bass drum player, the synth snare, the phase, the analog. Somewhere in here is the lead. Let me hit solo. There's the snare, the bass drum, up and down. So here's his lead sound. So check this out. This has somewhere in the inputs a toggle setup. So each time you play the note, pitchy G up the first time, the next time I play a note, pitchy G down. So it's toggling between so you're not sure unless you're doing the math in your head what you're gonna get with that. But it took all of this, you right click inside this interface, and here's where you say, I want to have a stereo oscillator. Boom. So I've just added a stereo oscillator to the sound. Then I need to go over here to the note triggering and go this trigger tied to the trigger so that it gets triggered. Here's where you have all your CC inputs. And then you'd have to have your output go to wherever you want to go in your mixers. I mean, it's that type of level of programming. If I wanted to add a filter, I could right click. Here's wave sequence, 4-operator FM, lo-fi oscillators, sound font sample players. Here's the flute model, the pluck string. So that's the level. It's like kind of atomic level programming. Yeah, because you're able to choose what elements you want to use to make your patch. And if you click the little bullets here, you go to the directory and we could say organize it by collections. And I'm currently looking just in the hyperpipe, but if I go up to my folder directories and go up a novel level, I can go to just the patches. And this way I can see all the patches. And then here's all the factory patches. And they go from all sorts of crazy things, wide open synth. So, and then you hit right here and you see, okay, stuck note, cool. As you can see, this is this algorithm. Music controls for input. Yeah, so here's the filter. If I turn this, I can click on this and I can see what's being assigned to it. It's that level of programming. If you want, you have curvature control for the assignments. It's super, super flexible. Very cool power. Highly regarded. And the fact is, I mean, Paul made this from scratch. So his own reverbs, the hyper reverb in here is his own. That's his reverb. So I don't know why it's doing that. So that's the level of programming if you want to get into it. And if you don't, the headless Hyperion inside of Unify just let you call it up and play it. Another couple other patches. Here's the one. He's got this DSP physical model, which is really cool. And if you go to the macro knobs, you have access to like the sustain, which will make it really cool. So play with these patches. There's all sorts of really cool stuff in here to play with. So thank you again, Paul. Yeah. Hey, let's give him a shout out real quick because he's here. So shout out to Paul. I'll tell you. Shout out to Mr. Wave Sequencer. It's so interesting. One of the synths that I worked on was the Wave Station. The first synthesizer Paul owned was a Wave Station. Learned it inside out. His company is Wave Sequencer, so we were destined to work together, I believe. So it's just so awesome. The steam pipe. Yes, thank you, Mr. Wave Sequencer. It's wonderful to have these tools added to Unify. So that's free stuff we've added since coming out in end of October. So thank you. Awesome stuff. So let's go on and talk about the NAMM show and the whole travel experience. Oh my gosh. It was a really great trip. Wonderful trip. I drove down from Idaho to Los Angeles. It's about 1,100 miles. I spent the night with my cousin in Las Vegas. I met friends for lunch on Thursday, and I thought I was going to Burbank to a steakhouse. He texts me on Wednesday as I'd just gotten into Las Vegas. He's like, dude, so there's a fourth seat at the table. Come have steak with us. And I was like, okay. And I thought he would, because he lives in the Burbank area up there in Studio City, Burbank. And so I put GPS to this steakhouse, thinking that was where I was going. And just as I get into LA, I'm like, okay, I'll see you in a bit. You're at the Burbank one, right? He's like, dude, no, I'm down by the Anaheim Convention Center. So updated GPS, headed to Anaheim, and ended up going to the NAMM show on Thursday, which I wasn't planning to. I was planning to go to the NAMM show on Friday. But it ended up being for the best because Friday I had to stay at the Airbnb and just do prep to make sure I had all my demos ready for the weekend shows, right? So I went to the NAMM show. I don't know if somebody's here or not, but that's too bad if they are. I want to show this first. So this is at the NAMM show. This is, make sure that I've got the volume so that it can be heard. I think it's in here. So let me go to OBS, make sure really quick to watch the levels of this to see that you hear. Yep. It was so loud. This dude was playing on the guitar for like 15 minutes. I caught him just at the end of this for this walkthrough.
Thank you.
So you couldn't even think over the top of the guitar.
Watching me play today, and I'll be back here tomorrow and make sure you guys.
So this is the North Expo. Quieter here than the main NAMM area, which I can show you in a second. Yeah, so this is what a NAMM show experience is like. You're just walking around with tons of people, tons of booths of all the software companies, because the North Expo is mostly software and like mixing stuff like that. Yeah, and then Sound Toys, I had friends working at Sound Toys, so I was hanging out there. So that's, and this is quiet compared to the other place. I mentioned that, but and if you enter the NAMM show from the outside, I think this is the one that does that. Oh no, this is, I think this is at the actual NAMM show itself. So noisy, every around you, people are playing on things. Just goes on and on. I walked for quite a bit, so you know, everybody's got their speakers going. There's a DJ over here. There's somebody showing synthesizers over here. It's just noise, noise, noise. Here these guys are DJing. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun, but it's noisy, and I lost interest. You know, this is the 37th year. I haven't gone consecutive every year, but my first show was 1989. I was at the January 1989 trade show. So it's a lot of years, 37 years. I'll share this. This was kind of fun. The Thursday night, there's a get-together that has been going on for many, many years. This was my 9th year that I've been invited to attend. It's called the Old Men of MIDI Dinner, and it's with these wonderful gentlemen. There's quite a few people that didn't come this year, but Steve Picaro, keyboard player at Toto. This is Riles, Marcus Riles, who's done all of the synthesizer designs with Opcode. He did Andromeda with Alesis. He's prolific in the industry. Drew Newman, dear friend of mine that does synthesis. He did the music for the soundtrack to Aeon Flux, which I love. I forget his name. He's a keyboard player with Billy Joel. Manny Fernandez is this dentist. That's one of the most gifted sound designer, patch designers. He's done a lot of work with Yamaha in past years. I hired him many, many, many years ago to make a card for the Wave Station. That was super cool. Jerry Kravarsky, I've worked with at Korg for many, many, many years. He used to be with Ensoniq, big part of the industry. Andrew Schlesinger, another programmer, done tons of patches. He works on a lot of the Cherry Audio synths. Manny, Andrew and myself are working together on something right now. So we talk a little shop here and there. Mark Vail is the godfather of this whole thing. He used to work with Keyboard Magazine. Way back in the day, this was a get-together of Keyboard Magazine and industry people. We did a Band on the Run kind of shot too. That's kind of funny. Anyway, I wouldn't go to the NAMM show if not for that show, to have dinner with those guys and just catch up on life. It's like we're a little, are you still alive? How you doing? How's your, you know, I mean, I don't have many friend circles like that. So it's really cool we get together and do that. And then I stayed in an Airbnb in Whittier, and Paul was there. We shared the house, and it was kind of crazy because it's a two separate area Airbnb. It's one house. The front is separated, so it's actually like you don't see the neighbors in the front, but you could hear them sometimes. And it had just the most basic, bare bones things that you needed. Like there was 3 forks, 3 knives. There was no cups, so it was coffee cups for pouring milk and stuff like that. And I stayed there all day Friday, authorizing libraries and getting my Mac Mini all set up and getting the patches ready for what I wanted to show for Saturday and Sunday. Let's see, where did I put my Brooklyn Friends photos? I think I have to go to Facebook to show these. Hold on a second here, Facebook. Once I got to the Buchla and Friends event, I didn't have a lot of time to take pictures and stuff. Not a lot of social media outings. Let's see. Did I post? Yes. So here is a shot of Paul and me at our booth. And we were all set up. We had our posters up. We had 2 stations. We could show Hyperion and Unify 2. And we were nonstop working and talking with people. And it's just amazing how many people had never heard of Unify. Just really kind of put it in my bee in my bonnet that I really got to get the word out there more, stuff like that. The show itself is like this. There's like 3 or 4 rows of tables, both sides and the ends with different companies. Everybody's with headphones. So it's just talking level. There's nobody screaming solos and stuff. Over here where it's green, there was a live show for the last hour. On Sunday, Susan Ciani did a performance that was really cool. And when that happened, you kind of stopped talking to people because it's so loud. But it was a much different event. This is mostly modular synthesizers, but Arturia, Novation, some software companies. Ableton was next to us showing off their stuff. We were next to the Bob Moog Foundation. It was awesome. Really, really cool event. I lost my voice and got sick. When you're talking to so many people, it's pretty high percentages that you're going to get sick. And I have not had a sore throat that went that deep in my chest for many, many, many years. And that was not that busy. And it gets busier in the day. It was a really great show. Sunday was especially busy because there was no NAMM show. It used to be that the NAMM show was Thursday through Sunday. And now it's only Thursday through Saturday. So that Sunday, all the people that didn't have the NAMM show to go to came up to the Buchla and Friends event. And so it was very busy. It was great. We got to talk to a lot of cool people, opportunities to show them stuff that got them really excited. Everybody's like, man, tell them the price. And they're like, that's it for this? You're kidding. Same with Hyperion. That's, we've priced our products to be extremely fair for what they do. And everybody without fail goes, that's all, for something that can load all of your plugins, has 100 plugins that it comes with, 1,300 patches, 8 gigabytes of samples, all this work, and all those places to play. And they're like, that's it? That's all you're going to charge for this? I'm like, yeah, just want to be fair. It's a fair price for what we ask. By the way, at the website, I don't have a banner up, but I'll get a little poster up later today. We have a sale. It's kind of a secret little in-between sale going on with Hyperion and with Unify 2 and Paul's 3 libraries for Hyperion. Because if you own those libraries, you can go to those libraries. Each one comes with a .guru file for Unify, right? You drag that over, you add, let's see, I think I have Hyperion known again, right? So let's go over here and let's say Hyperion, Hyper, there we go. Let me remove Hyperion again to show you this. This is so cool. So right now, I don't have Hyperion known to Unify, right? So it just loads just the headless. But all these cool patches, the synth cello, which is just, if you saw the model for what's going on, it's really cool. Phase. All these patches work even though I don't own Hyperion right now. So, we did a sale this weekend. If you go to Unify 2, it's $10 off. So it's only $139 instead of $149. I don't think this applies to the upgrade cost. You might need to email us at unifysupport@pluginguru.com for after the sale. We'll do an upgrade that way to send you an invoice or something like that, because it's only for buying the new version of Unify 2. If you go to Hyperion, it's not $129, it's only $119 for this weekend. So you can get the full version of Hyperion. If you go to his libraries, all 3 of these libraries are $10 off. So instead of being $30, they're $20. So cinematic landscapes, the mix and match is really, really cool because he's like made all these synth sounds for all these different popular songs and stuff like that. So if we go pick and mix, you know, that's super, super cool. There's Mother Plucker. All sorts of fun, crazy ideas. Starfall for cool. And again, I'm using the headless Hyperion, which means it's playing this sound even though I don't have Hyperion. So you can get all 3 of the libraries. They're each $10 off this weekend. Only until Sunday night. So don't wait too long on this sale because it's going to be Sunday night really fast. But all these really cool, like soft analog brass. Stuff like that. Really cool stuff. So we got that going on. There's one plugin to show you guys that you should be aware of has become available. So let's do the really quick what's new, and that's NightSky. And it's a cool reverb, has some cool abilities. It's kind of strange. NightSky from Strymon. This is a very famous plugin, has very cool capabilities with the shimmer and glimmer and drive and modulation. There's no patch browser. They designed it so that you use the browsing ability of your DAW, which is, I'm sorry, that's dumb. That's really dumb. So inside of Unify, you cannot access the patches. I don't know how to get the presets. There's nowhere to, you know, maybe we can figure out, but I don't really want to figure it out because it's just silly. If you go to, let's call up Unify here in my DAW. So get Unify here. Let me turn down the volume of this. Actually, just mute this and move this to the side. Oh, this is Unify 1. Hi, Unify 1. Looks so different, doesn't it? Let's see. Let's say Unify 2, because we want the little bit more updated look. So go PlugInGuru, Unify 2. There we go. Oh, it didn't load the image, so we'll call it back. There we go. And why are you not playing? Okay, let's go standard library. All right, let's play with this for a second. So I have to call up NightSky inside of Logic, right? And now I have access through here to the 15 presets. Ooh, so cool. And so turn on the shimmer. And then here's your different presets. You can do minus or plus. Let's say we do plus octave is the very last one. The most obvious one that you want to use all the time is the last in the list. So they have the drive and all this stuff turned on. It can definitely do some really cool sonic things. It's right, you can do all that kind of stuff. I can do really long reverbs that sound really nice and lush. It has this cool stepping ability so that you can, if we say half steps, now it's tonal. If you go scale, then you can choose all these different scales. Which you could assign to a knob inside of Unify if you wanted to. Tone controls for low cut and high cut. Let's go over here. Let's say inits. We're just playing a sine wave. Turn on the shimmer. So it has regen or input where it's doing a real-time octave transpose, but it's not letting it regenerate. So you have both options. If you want, you can do like me and try the 7-day demo. It's available for $99 if you want to have it in your toolkit. It's a very smooth, beautiful reverb. There's no doubt they have wonderful algorithms. There's just so many shimmer verbs and stuff, and Space Blender and other effects by other companies in the reverb space. Like in the browser, I said, like, you know, Reverb 21,000 or something like that. You know, it's like there's a lot of reverb choices out there, but it is cool. I just think it's a huge mistake that they didn't even make a cool browser for this and make more patches and more variations. It's really cool, some of the things you can do with this modulation. You get down here to side chaining and enveloping and all sorts of cool things. But they don't give you presets unless you use it in your browser, and then they only give you 15 presets. So, yes, and Hyperion can do shimmer reverbs and stuff like that. So, exactly. So, that is a really cool reverb effect I want you guys to be aware of. Next, we're going to talk about the next library coming. So, I got to hurry. Well, I'll make it kind of a short introduction. I kind of have preliminary artwork. I'm on a library called Unison. Haven't used that name before and felt like this would be a good time to use it. And it's actually got a really interesting story behind it. So let's go. Are you ready? So I was working, there's a video game called Arc Raiders, and the soundtrack for that is super cool in the synthesizer domain. Really, really cool sounds. So that's what kind of got me into that, like, zeroed into that direction. So, oh, and I'm going to get, it's not in Logic, we'll mute this over here, and let me get back to the full Unify 2 experience in standalone, where it's so much more nicer. I like it here so much better. So let me get this to fit like this. So that happened, and then not long after that, there's a really crazy group of guys on the net called the Usual or the Unusual Suspects. Unusual, or Usual, right? Yes, Usual Suspects. I thought it was unusual for a minute. And they released this, the JE8086 emulator. This is an emulator of the JP8000 from Roland. And it's beautiful. And it sounds great. Right? It does the super saw that's like define the whole 90s trance scene and all that kind of stuff. We could go to the factory patches, and it's one of these really cool, there's a really cool video. I'll put it into the video description if you want to watch it, where the guys, one of the guys that helped do the emulation of this, they actually emulated the actual instruction set of the actual processors. It's not an approximation, it's the absolute identical parameter to parameter, what it does and what it means. That's why you can get, like, these are all different libraries of patches that, and it sounds incredibly cool. I mean, it's like, hello. And let's see, let's go to single. Turn off the arc. Here's, let's see, go to the oscillator balance. So here's super saw. It's got a lot of EQ here, so let's turn down. Oh, wait. Now, if you want this to work, you can download the plugin itself, but the ROM is a little bit tricky to find. If you have to search through forums I have a photo I will share. Where did I put that? It's a did I put it somewhere else? Oh, I might have put it up here. Hold on a second. Because I can't give you a lot of the details about this, but let's see if I go. I don't know if it's this. No, it's not that. Let's see if I can find this really quick. No. Nope. Not there. Not there. Not there. Maybe I put it here. Did I put it here? Nope. I didn't put it there. I don't know where I put it. It requires downloading MIDI files. Well, here, I'll show you on my computer really quick. I can't tell you much about it because I don't want to get in trouble, because it's one of these things I don't know how enforcing our friends at Roland will be with, the ROMs and stuff. But there's actually a Roland site that has the operating system as MIDI files. And you go to, let's see, is it in Documents? Usual Suspects. Yes. So here's what you do. I'm not going to give you any instructions, but I'll show you. There's a place inside of a folder where you have a folder like that, and that's where you put things like this. And then when you run the plugin, it reads this to give it its instruction set to do what it does. And it's using the actual operating system of the JP8000, all that stuff. So long story short, after I had this, I was like, I want to sample this for this library I'm working on. And so I did. I sampled it quite a bit. So if we go over here to X Factor, I have all sorts of really cool Unison patches. It's doing it. The fanfare brass. So after I sampled it, I was like, I want to compare the hardware to the software, because I thought I might make a video about that. But I also should just own one, because then I have one. So if I could say I'm sampling it, So I ordered a JP8000, which is right here. It came from Japan. Japan is 100 volts. USA is 110 volts. So there's not the right match for voltage. And I plugged it in, not realizing this because I'm an adult with this stuff, I guess. And I ended up with I don't know if I broke it, or else if it came from Japan this way with the power supply being a little funky. But like if I go to, here, let's do this. Let's get back to just a normal patch. And then get back to the usual. There's a patch inside of the factory voicing. I'll show you. Let's go like here, factory. Where is it at? What's it called? Massive pad. So here it is. So massive pad sounds like this. Right? Well, my JP8000 from Japan sounds like this. It's broken, but in the coolest way. It sounds like this is Stargate. So Stargate's supposed to sound like, where's Stargate? Where was Stargate? I can't find Stargate. I'm in the factory. I think I saw it right here. So Stargate's supposed to nice and clean. This has X Factor. that cool? So, inside of the library, there's these JPX patches that are all sorts of really cool. So it's actually a gift that it was broken. Like for some people that just spent, you know, you'd be upset that it sounded like this. Isn't that cool? And these sounds, you know, you filter them. You know, this really cool schmutz in there. So, this library is turning out really special because on top of everything else that I've sampled, I have all these really cool, like, here's an example. The JP 1979, this is what the JP is supposed to sound like. Let's see if I go over here. Right? Well, here's what the JPX sounds like. And if I turn this down and get some of that added to the real full version, it's so cool. Or like, here's the unisons, right? And I did make one patch down here already just to show you what you can do, like for all this kind of stuff for the doing all the big but the unison inside of the JPX is right here. It's called Psycho Super Saw because it's but again, turn this down about halfway and then combine this with the stacked sounds and stuff like that, and you just get this. So on top of that, there's all sorts of really cool things I sampled from like my Pro 1. There's stuff I sampled like Replicant, which is really cool for velocity switching between four. There's Replicant, which are all these really cool. Oh wait, I showed you that. Infinite Pluck. This is really cool. This has got the dark version. Really nice analogy. But I also sampled it in a sync mode where it's for all sorts of coolly synthy kind of alternate. So it's going to be a cool library, man. Iceman's here for the really cool. That vibe is here. This is one I made on the JPX that came out really cool of the just the really darky kind of. Oh, did I like? I didn't find it, so we gotta go JP because I did a library name, so to go like that and Dark Day. Here we go. Isn't that cool? Because while the oscillators over here, the engine itself is like mangled, the delay and the chorus are perfect, pristine. So the sounds are going to be so cool, right? So now I've got a converter since doing all this stuff. I bought a transformer to see if that would get it back to sounding like it's supposed to, and it's not. So I think I did something to the power supply, or it came with the power supply. Probably me breaking it, but it's magic. I have the only JP8000 that sounds this way at the point for sampling. So to me, it's a benefit to have both types of synthesizers from the same synth. But that's the X factor, is all these really cool JPX patches of a JX8. Just so cool. Isn't that cool? So we're in the looping stage. I'm thinking, just a little outside thought, I'm thinking I'm going to release the library for Valentine's Day as a public library for everybody to program with. And we'll make a bonus library like we did for, we haven't done this in a while. We did this a while back for Eternal Flow. Remember, we did a bonus library and you guys made all sorts of really cool patches. So I think for Valentine's Day, I'm going to give you guys a present of this library. You can get it early if you want. And I'll be working on it, making patches along the way for the final patches of the library itself. But I'll let you guys make a bonus library so we can see what all sorts of cool synth sounds we come up with. So with all the capabilities of Guru Sampler 2, with Hyperion, if you guys own Hyperion, you can use Hyperion to make the patches for this library or for anything. Send them to your friends. If they don't own Hyperion, it will still load the headless version. The only real big limitation is if you start using samples in Hyperion, then there's a certain memory limit of how much it can hold in its single thing before it spits it out as a separate file. It's about 2 megabytes or so. But if you're using it for any of the DSP things, then it's all fun games. So you can use Hyperion for audio effects. Oh, I have one more present for you guys. One more present. So one thing I did, let's do this. Let's go to like maybe, let's see if this will work. Let's do a synth sound. So let's go like back to there's these really cool, like Rezo's cool. Let's go over here. Then move the attack up just a little bit. So, as you saw when I was showing the Hyperion patches, we use Combo Box to do either MIDI effects or audio effects, right? And Hyperion has all sorts of audio processing as separate patches. And as a present to you guys, if you download the full part 404, it will install these. I think I can go back and fix the library because I figured out what I was doing. But I made it a separate file right now. But if you go over here and if you add a combo box as an audio effect, an insert effect, right? So you go to Utility, Combo Box. Inside of the menu, I'm going to give you a download that's going to give you some templates to have cavernous reverbs, the granulator grain patch that I was using for that one patch, dense verb long. So if I call this up, it calls up Hyperion, puts it in this incredible reverb that Paul made. Right? And I don't have Hyperion inside right now, so all I see is this. So I'm getting these effects even though I don't have Hyperion known to Unify. So that's just the coolest thing on the planet. Go to the chorus delays. It does a chorusy delay kind of a thing. So these patches, I'm going to give you, here's a cavernous reverb for the... It's got this cool vibe to it. Not cool? So, here's the link. I'll put it in the video description. I'm going to update the library because I realized I could do this as a .guru. So it's a .guru file. You drag it over Unify, and it will install these into the places it needs to install to give you this. And it's going to give you one more thing. That's kind of cool. If you were to, well, for this is kind of one of those things, like if you have the full version of Hyperion. So let me add Hyperion back to show you this other thing that I include in that .guru file. So if we go plugins, VST3, make sure it's the VST3 version of Hyperion. Add it. Okay. So let's call up a patch again, and then I'm going to change this to be Hyperion, Hypern. And I go over here and let's find a patch. So it calls up Hyperion. This is the default patch it starts with. I'm going to go over here to the top right here and click the little file directory. Let's just choose something like a 3 oscillator classic. Right? So inside of Hyperion, if we go to the play page, which is here, you see he's got these macro knobs, right? For filter, reso, shape, ADSR. What I did is I made a macro knob preset. So if you go over here to the little bullet and you say load macro definition preset, this is, I don't know if you know this, but once you lay out the macro knobs, you can save them as a preset and you can load them back as a preset. I have quite a few for different libraries. If I'm making a library and I want to use the same knob assignments for a whole bunch of patches, I save it as a preset. But I include in that .guru file, this one here, the headless Hyperion 8 macro. And it actually works for the full Hyperion as well. But what it does is it assigns the macro knobs of 1 through 8 through macro knobs 1 through 8. So now I can control my Hyperion right here from inside of Unify. Right? So it just is to make working with it a little bit easier. If you want, you can use that to just load a preset. The other way to do this is you have to go to the full box range, and you'd go to each one of the knobs and you'd say instrument, Hyperion, macro knob 2, because this is knob 2, right? You can do that 8 times in a row over and over again if you want, but it's a lot quicker and easier to just go over here to the little bullet, load macro definition preset, and then right there's the headless Hyperion 8 macro. Load that, and it just sets up all 8 macros connected to the 8 macros in Hyperion. Not all the patches, not all the macro knobs are being used in those patches, but if they are, just move a knob. And then if you want, you can double click and say what it does and stuff like that, but it just gives you access to whatever Ball set up for his patches inside of Hyperion quickly, right? Like that. So, all right. So let me see. I haven't even been following questions. Hyperion comes with a ton of presets, like 815. If you go here, let me give you the link for the website, PlugInGuru. If you want to go right to Hyperion, it is a synth that you will not be sorry you own, I promise you. It's right here. Details. I'm going to actually enhance the site more, but there's 815 patches. There's also Taya, which is like the player-only version of this, but this is specifically with Hyperion. It has Taya is kind of a separate thing. It's just that's the player version of Hyperion for people to use without buying Hyperion to program. This gives you the full version of Hyperion, which has more patches in it. And again, you use the little bullets right here to see the browser. He's got a really cool system over here for what kind of category you want to look for. If you want to say bass, and then it shows up the boxes for if you want noisy bass, and then here you go with the noisy basses. So, right? If I want intense basses, there's intense. If you go over here to effects bus, and let's see, I think it's got turn off intense. If you go to effects bus, these are the effect patches that are set up. And what you do is you call this up. Let's say we say echo verb or like one of these cool reverbs or something like that. Then you click on the actual name and that displays the algorithm. And then what you do is you look for this auxiliary return. And what you could do is you right click on this and you say swap node and you change that to the audio input. And by doing that, it can now go into a combo box to be used as an audio effect. So here, let's do this as a quick example and then we'll be done for this live stream. So here's a sawtooth waveform. I want to use Hyperion as an audio effect, right? So let's make it nice and a little bit short on the envelope. Okay, so that'll be cool. So what you do is on the insert effects or as an auxiliary that you route to it, either option, I'm going to use it as an auxiliary effect. You go to Unify, to Utility, Combo Box. This puts a combo box in the path, and then you right click right here and you say Hyperion, and you add Hyperion. And then you want to route the audio for left and right, in and out. So now Hyperion is able to be accessed. Now, if I need to send MIDI data information to this, then you can drag this. If you want to use the arpeggiator, if you're using this as a MIDI effect, then you drag the MIDI out over to here, and now you've routed MIDI. I'm going to say disconnect that. So now I can open up Hyperion, and it's not going to do anything. It's getting MIDI, so it's playing, thinking it's doing its thing, but I don't want it to do that. I want to go over here. I'm going to say effects bus. Let's say dense reverb, and let's call that up. And I go to my auxiliary return, right click where on the auxiliary return, swap node input. And now my input is routed from here into dense verb into the output. And then you touch the dense verb box in here. And if I wanted to add something to this, let's say I want to add distortion, double click, here's distortion. So I'm going to go out of here, into here, out of here, into here. Now I could have it this way where it's distortion and a dry signal. I could also have the output from here going to the input. And if you go to any of these inputs, you can right click and say, I want to disconnect the dense verb. So now I have a distortion signal and a reverb signal separate. And if I want, I could say, let's maybe say like a comb filter, pitch shifter. Look at all these cool things you have to play with. Hyper reverb, crossfades, echo. Let's say we want to have an echo for the distortion. So I'm going to click right here and say remove the distortion, disconnect distortion. Then I'm going to go into here and then into here. And then I have echoes. It's that easy to configure whatever you want for your effect chain. If you want to have like comb filters and all sorts of other things, flangers and phasers, and I could have, I mean, the world is your oyster. You get to make your own effects the way you want to do them. I mean, it's crazy power. So combo box with Hyperion in the middle of it just opens up all sorts of cool opportunities and stuff like that. Isn't that cool? Pretty cool. I mean, without it, with it, you know. So, thank you, Paul. It's a pretty intense gift you have added to Unify with this ability. So thank you. All right. Well, thank you for joining for the live stream. I hope you guys had a good time. It's always love to hang with you guys. Missed you while I was in LA, but we're back. And let's do our shout outs from wherever we are. What's my views on native instruments? They'll survive. I'm not worried about them. They're so big. They have so many arms into so many different things. Their hardware is really good. They just got a little too big for their pants, trying to buy and swallow. It's like, you know, you see a snake trying to eat an antelope, you know? That's native instruments. And they just kind of got a little verklempt. Not worried, not worried. Shout out from Eagle, Idaho. Out from Eagle. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate you all so much. I have the best customer base, no doubt. Okay. Make music, not war. Amen. Could not agree more with you. War in cities or war in countries, right? Anyway, thank you for joining. I appreciate all of you. Okay, shout outs. We got a shout out. I forgot I got to do my shout outs from where you guys are at. So, Ottawa, Netherlands, Tucson, Arizona. Love it. Camino Island. Good to see you, my friend. Springfield, Illinois. Vancouver. Antwerp. Cool, man. JD, good to see you. Right on. Kosaka-san in Japan. Domo arigato gozaimashita. Domo. Good to see you, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. New York. Right on, my friend. South Africa. Holy cow. Hello, South Africa. How cool. North Carolina. Stockholm. Man, my eyes are all watery. This cold that I got was just crazy. So, Minneapolis. Oh, wow. Greg, you're right in the middle of it, man. Be safe. Be safe. Taylor is here. Shout out to Taylor. Thank you, Taylor, for all your help. He's been very busy with tech support. When we released this update and it didn't work for PC people, it was like pretty intense for a little while there. So thank you, Taylor. Plano, Texas. Hey, man. Chicken soup. Yeah, chicken soup. I need to do some chicken soup for sure. All right. Thank you all. We'll see you next week for another live stream. We love to do these, so we'll keep going. It's a good time, good hang. And have a safe, creative week. If you get Hyperion, get ready for your brains to just expand, because there's the possibilities that you can go inside of Unify with Hyperion are just crazy. I can't wait. The synth library is going to have some really good experiences and go some places I wasn't expecting thanks to Hyperion. So it's really, really awesome. So, all right. See you all. Have a blessed week, and we'll see you in another stream.